With Storytell, you can have real conversations with your data to finally understand what's actually going on. No more fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You have to work with messy, unstructured data all day long, like PDFs from marketing and sales win-loss reports from sales teams, architecture diagrams that are hard to parse, product teams wanting most requested features so they can build the right products, executives having company priorities. How do you make sense of all of this? And what if there were a different way to view all this data? Especially because with today's tools, answering simple questions like, are we going to meet our goals for 2025, can be really, really challenging, if not impossible to do. I'd like to introduce you to Storytell, an elegant way to transform your data into key insights so you can craft an optimal strategy that drives actionable results. Let's look at how it works. Getting started with Storytell is easy with upcoming integrations, connecting via MCP server, or the easiest way to get started is just by uploading files. Let's start with those five files that we were looking at earlier. I've loaded these files into Storytell, and now I can start asking questions of them. I could ask a question like, based on our sales win-loss report, will we meet our company priorities? As you can see, I'm mentioning specific assets, which is easy to do. I just hit the symbol, and now I can choose any of the assets. But the real power of Storytell is this section up here called Concepts. Let's talk about what that is. Concepts provide an entirely new view into your data. We've never had anything like this before. We're so used to an asset view where we need to wade through all these different incompatible file types in order to get answers to our questions. But what if it were possible to pull from each asset the little bits of information that are all related to a similar concept, like 3Q25 sales performance or high churn risk customers? It's different parts of each asset that make up these concepts. Storytell automatically finds all of the assets that have high affinity to each other, all the detail in those assets, and then puts them together in a new view called a concept. Because let's face it, without the narrative, data is just noise. This means that when I'm using Storytell, I don't have to mention specific assets. Instead, I can just mention a concept. Give me an update on our growth in 2025. This is a concept that is built from all of the assets that I uploaded automatically. Before we run this query, let's take a second to learn more about this concept. I can get a summary of what this concept is about and all the parts of the assets that build the properties up for this concept. And when I ask this question and mention this concept, Storytell is automatically looking across all of these incompatible data types to find the answer for me, using just the little bits of each asset that make up that concept. And we will soon be launching a visual concept graph so you can really dig into each of these concepts, including the ability for each concept to get a timeline to see all the unstructured data that made that concept up, powering its properties, as well as the ability to subscribe to a concept, like text me whenever there's new information about this concept. And it all comes together in this beautiful, simple, easy to use chat interface that lets you have real conversations with your data. So let's find out, is Fast Invest going to meet its goals for the year? When I ask this question, Storytell will automatically plan, set up a framework, brainstorm, figure out how to execute the plan, and choose tools to use for the job. In this case, it's choosing to do an internal knowledge base search of my data and then to generate an artifact of output. Storytell then generates that artifact for me. We can see, for example, that Storytell's conclusion is that the company is directionally on course, but must accelerate initiatives tied to user requested features and conversion optimization to meet or exceed objectives before year end. Storytell is giving me a list of recommendations. I can edit Storytell's output. This is top priority. I can also download this artifact so that I can share it with my team. I can continue the conversation with Storytell. Maybe I want to edit this in chat and ask a more detailed question about this. For accelerating top user requested feature delivery, maybe I say, give me a set of specific strategies to accomplish this. But Storytell is about more than just being able to have real conversations with my data to find out what's actually going on. I can also create an action to make this result repeatable. Maybe I want to know on a schedule every week whether the company is going to achieve its 2025 objectives. And I could ask Storytell to send me an SMS or an email or to create the output once a week. But maybe I want to know whenever there's new data. I could say, let me know whenever the company is at risk of missing its 2025 objectives. Actions make my results repeatable, scalable, and automated. So that's Storytell. Looking forward to helping you have real conversations with your data so you can finally figure out what's actually going on.